Okay, welcome to a new episode of Two Sober Girls. And this is not our normal studio. And how, like, flipping happy are we to be here with our dear friend, Jaye, our teacher, our guide. And so much that we want to jump into, but a little bit about Jaye so you know who she is, where we are, and what we're doing here. Okay. So, our beautiful Jaye, thank you, by the way, for coming on. And
Thank you.
So
Thank
excited.
you.
Okay. Jaye is the founder of Thought in Motion, where she teaches a system she has created and refined over the past 35 years. It's amazing. Her work focuses on clear, systematic approach to the power of thought. She helps people understand their inner worlds. It's amazing. Settle the conflicts that drain their energy and move toward a life that feels healthy, purposeful, and balanced. Thought, though the method she has developed through the methods, she has developed, Jaye guides individuals to break through mental friction, unlock their creative capacity, and reconnect with a deeper sense of self. Her approach rests on one simple belief: when we change how we think, we can change how we live. It's amazing. With compassion, clarity, and proven process, Jaye supports clients as they create real, lasting shifts in both their personal and professional lives. She meets them where they are and helps them to move forward with purpose, and we are living proof of that. Jaye, thank you again and welcome.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Michaela and I have been doing this now. For how long have we been working with you?
Wow.
Most of the year,
I was going to say, yeah, most of the year.
Most of the year. And this is part of, so we talk a lot on our podcast and in our community about being in the work, that you always have to be in the work if you want to continue to love your sobriety, love your life, and connect more deeply with your why, your highest purpose, your calling, and clear off some wreckage of the past, some of us might call it, and to move into the now with clarity and power and purpose. And Jaye has been helping us do that it's been wild, right? Like, we didn't know what to expect when we first sat down with you, and it's been nothing short of mind blowing.
Thank you.
So, part of the work, like you were saying, we are very big on that. And I feel that for so long, I was looking for my teacher, my guide. I was looking for somebody to do a business with and to do life with. And so I found that in Aaron, and I found the guide in you. And in the past, I found the guide in books, and I was always seeking and searching. And there's nothing better than having a guide. Like when, we love to shift and improve, and in the self-development world for I think like over 2 decades. And you make complex things and also things that are not taught just very simple and attainable and doable. And we have this foundation with you throughout this year of learning and the honor of learning so many different things that a lot of the things like we know intuitively, but when you have somebody and you invest in yourself and you spend time with regularly and they get to know you. I think this is what we have in the mastermind as well, is, this investment in, we could all be sober, right? But it's so much better to do it with like-minded people, somebody that can bring you higher, somebody that can teach you things, and perhaps you teach each other, right? So, there's so many things that you've taught us. One of the things that I want to sort of jump into is, Thought in Motion, this business, this empire that you've built, this movement. Let's start there about, when we change how we think about things. So we're talking about sobriety, we're talking about trauma, we're talking about relationships to ourselves, to people. We're shifting constantly, daily, and you allow us to practice in our journaling, like right in front of you, of like how we want to flip certain things and shift certain things. So can you simplify that for our audience? Like, how can they start changing how they think about sobriety and trauma?
Well, one, I want to say you just did a great job. So thank you. You just said it so beautifully. Thought in motion is what we all have. And what I teach, we all have. We all have this innate emotional intelligence inside where we can be our best self and heal what we don't like. But it really only begins if we see what we don't like. Some get caught up in that and repeat it instead of saying, I could be my greatest self. I can create balance and health and happiness and accomplishment over things I feel stuck with, whether it be emotional hurt with a partner or things we eat or things we drink or things we smoke or do. And it sometimes is our escape. So we will, focus on that. But thought in motion is what we all do, because in every moment we're moving forward towards one idea or another. And do we like it? But there's so many emotions, so many aspects of life. Sometimes it gets overwhelming.
How many emotions do we have?
Well, it depends on the soul, but about over 1 trillion per soul, which we call the butterfly effect. It's a lot. And sometimes I get overwhelmed. I mean, I'm a student most of the time. And with Matrix, life, our family, our work, our partner, our children, our friends teach us what we like and what we don't like. It's why the mirror effect is here. There's always the up and the down, the left and the right. That's what the butterfly effect is. There's always 2 moves to everything: fat, thin, happy, unhappy. And, you get to choose which one you focus on once you realize that, may not feel your best self. So then you can focus on what your best self is.
Yeah.
So
and I
it's
think a
important.
lot of people don't know that they have that power.
Yeah.
So it's almost like giving people the permission to start thinking, okay, there's so many things that I don't like. And a lot of times people just get stuck.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
we don't subscribe to that. And if there is something we don't like, we know it can be changed.
Yes.
Would you say like anything can be changed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and something that I learned from you and I've been practicing nonstop is coming back to the now and going to neutral, which I had no idea. So I used to drink at life. So I felt overwhelmed, drink. I felt happy, drink. I didn't know what to do, I drank. That one thing, and now it sounds simple, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's life changing. I do this all day long, and I think about you every time I do it. Is whatever's happening, I take a deep breath. I put my hand over my heart, and I call my power back to me now. I invite my higher power back in. I even say, Erin, go to neutral. Go to neutral. That's where your power is. And I do this, and then I open my eyes. I'm like, now I will choose again. That, I can't tell you that one thing. And I do that over and over and over. And from there, when I go back to neutral, I then choose where I want to go versus going negative. I'm going overwhelmed. I'm going back to neutral. I physically stop. I emotionally stop. I pause, and then there, and then there. Wild.
But I love how you just said that. And that was beautifully articulated. If we're reminded of this, which I still do too, instead of that, neutral is that space before you make a choice. It's really, if you take the neutral and put it on its side, it's 0-point frequency. I'm very into energy because, when somebody's upset, you can see they're upset. They're not at neutral. When you take that step back, you don't source what you don't like, you find the answer to it. So it's so important. That neutrality is coming back into your circle, your home base, your soul goes into the body. No one knows what you're thinking or about to say next, but we get to have the freedom to choose that. And it's nice to choose what's right instead of what's hurtful. And I don't like being hurtful.
Yeah.
And when I am, because I can be, I make mistakes, I always apologize and say, you know what, I didn't mean that. And then we both advance, because no one's going to get it right all the time, but to practice, you start to get it right a lot of the time. You do.
When you're intentional,
Yes.
when you can think about it, when
Yeah.
you can talk about it, when you can practice it. And sometimes it does begin like a one-woman show, right? Just maybe listening to the podcast, learning different, because this is a life technique that I think all should know. I mean, I'm teaching many things that you've taught me to my daughter. She's 9, the cord cutting and using icons. I mean, there's so many things, you guys. And I feel so blessed to have a teacher in person, because I know how important that is. And, something you said about coming back to neutral when somebody's in a mood or somebody has negative energy. I think we can all relate to that. It's a lot of times why people do pick up, whether it's somebody in their family, whether it's somebody in their workspace that can take them to a different level. So having that tool. So this is like your tool number 1 is come back to neutral and then choose, okay, we're not going there. I might need to go to the bathroom to take deep breaths. I might need to go for a walk. I might need to text my community. I might need to, just literally take a step back physically there's so many different things we can do, and only you know in that moment what that thing is. But doing something shifts that matrix, right? For the other person as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Where both parties advance. Because communication is really the most powerful tool between anybody, any relationship, children, friends, work. To describe what you're thinking in a rational way allows them to understand who you are and what you need. But if we don't tell them, we can assume. And you'll have people that will be upset with you over something they thought you said or did in a hurtful way because they're hurting, and you didn't mean it that way. So you come to the table, you both talk about it, and you win, and they win, and you get closer. And you can heal old ideas, which I love. And I mean, we all have things we need to heal. I know I do. I sometimes look outside and I feel very emotionally sad over what I watch. And then I have to take a deep breath, go to neutral, and my next move is I want to see good happen in the world, and I don't want to contribute to what is not good. There is more than enough out there.
Right. And with our thoughts, if you were living in that, with your thoughts, you are contributing to what's bad.
Especially if you react and you act like them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So a big piece is in sobriety, there's a lot of history. It's all the emotions of guilt, of regret, of shame. It's freaking heavy. And I think when you become sober, you get hit with all of those things that you probably haven't dealt with a lot of your life, and it kind of like accumulates. But what I find is, working with it sort of head on and shifting into a more positive idea, knowing that you're safe, it almost cleanses it. Are there any other tools or techniques that somebody can go into and sort of cleanse their energy? One of the things that we work on is cutting cords. And I want you to share a very important sort of phrase, like when you are cutting cords, and explain how there's cords attached to us from the past, from the now. Somebody's thinking about you, somebody's talking about you, social media, they're seeing your posts. Like, you might not realize how impactful somebody's thought about you is. No,
I know,
teach
but
us this,
leaders it's great to hear people lead. Thank you.
how that all works.
Yes, everything is connected. The matrix, the grid, life, our technologies. I love pointing it to my children with the cell phone. How would you speak to someone around the world without that energetic, invisible connection? But that's souls, that's friendships, that's people at work, people that you see at the gym that you know. And some are really fancied by you and think about you, and some miss you, and some feel hurt and think about you. They don't know that, but they're sad inside. And they'll think, I have to call my best friend, my mentor, my mom. And so that negative is for moments, thought. And all of a sudden you'll feel like, I don't feel great. But everything is connected. And I'll ask my son, is something wrong today? And he'll say, yeah, I felt sad. And I said, I felt you. Those are beautiful because that's connection. But sometimes they can become too much, where too many negatives are created. So it's nice to keep your aura, your space, your thought forms in control. And so when you lighten up and say, I really am empowered by what I want, and everything else that's negative can go back and become positive, you're telling energy what to do. And I don't think you can see it, but there's Einstein that's there, which is EMC squared, which is energy in motion. And this one with the circles is Tesla, which has a scaled system to it. I made really advanced, simple, like my teachers did for me. And I've always wanted a physical teacher, and all my friends know this. And I have had some that gave me beautiful keys, but I never really had that. And I love that other people can get that here out of the water bar, which is powered by thought and motion. I made my private practice somewhere you can go to, and may there be many locations that you just find answers there for yourself. Things that you specifically want to have answered. And not everyone has a place to go for that. I love that they can ask you, but not everybody has that. So that's why we created the water bar, which has all healthy ideas here. But the thing that's great is we get to learn from each other instead of assume. And my team answers questions I have all the time. My guides have always said the question is as important as the answer, and the answer is as important as the question. How do you know what to find if you don't know what you're looking for? And so it's what we all bring to each other, and why it's so fabulous what you're doing, because people will know where to go. Not everyone knows where to go when they're lost. That's the lighthouse, which I have over there. And you guys are lighthouses. So I love that. But, protecting your space and keeping your energy clean, sage, telling energy what to do, taking a great bath with Himalayan salt and all different ingredients in there that takes some of the stuff off the body is very healthy. Telling your water what to do, telling your coffee what to do. Emoto is some brilliant, and you can tell it and it goes through the body. So energy is everywhere. May we use it appropriately is important.
Oh, amen. And you just mentioned a couple of things: the bath, the telling energy where to go, the blessing of our drinks, the cutting of the cord, the going back to neutral. Those are our foundational practices now that we've learned from, and we go deeper with you. Something that we share, and I'm going to try to say this without crying, is that I think a big reason why I drank and coming full circle is I'm not okay with humanity not winning. And you say it all the time, and it's so beautiful. We come to this space, not that I can be right, so that everyone can be better. I want everyone to win. I don't need to be right. I just want there to be peace and healing, and for that goodness to come from my soul to every soul that I meet, and the work we do with you enables me to show up that way. So thank you, because that was a huge, ginormous piece of my puzzle of, okay, I'm not drinking anymore, but there's this like gaping hole in my soul of how do I help people, and how can I be that love when people unconsciously are hurting you? Because a lot of times, yes, people are going to do things, and it's so unconscious. That is one thing I've experienced, and we all do. And to be able to flip it, mm-hmm. and to choose a better thought, and to send love and return that energy, and not need to be right, but just seeking peace and the highest good for all, and for wanting everyone to win. That's the foundation of our work with you. And that alone, I think, is something that we all need to think about. How am I doing that? How am I returning whatever is coming my way, any dark energy, unwanted energy, back with love and grace, and truly, and then cutting the cord and filling it with the love of God, of our Creator. It's wild. So thank you.
Thank you. And I love how you said that, and you're teaching them, which is so important, and it will make the world better. Louder. Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I could be very loud. No, I'm working on that. I'm working on a few things. But there's one thing I want to fill in. I think it's really important with cutting cords. It has a root to it. Yes. Some people have been with their mother that hasn't been as flowing and easily loving and kind as they would like. And sometimes it is, but we all have things we pass back and forth, especially with parents or siblings or best friends. If there's that pain, we can keep lessening, cutting the cord and putting light at the root on both ends is so important. Because what does it do? It takes care of the problem faster. Because you can cut a cord but leave the root.
Okay, and how does one cut a cord? Do you do this visually?
I like that. Cutting a cord is knowing there's something not so great, because you don't want to cut what feels great, passion, loyalty, laughter, connection between whatever that soul is that you have it with. But if it feels icky, it feels darker, you spar with your son, your daughter, a teacher they have, a friend, a parent, you know there's something that there's a problem with. And there could be a subject matter, of course, but you can cut the negative cords, see them dissolve, and put light at the root. What you're doing is, it's like making a virus get out of a computer, or a glitch out of a phone or a car. My car sometimes can have that interesting electrical issue, and it goes in and they fix it. You know, the world has problems and it has solutions. So it's knowing that if something isn't working for you, to acknowledge it, who it's with, see that and I have scissors in the back that are really pretty, or you can visually just see cutting that negative and sending light back into the core of that issue. You're lightening the vibration so that it goes more towards healing and love, clarity, instead of a block, static, and a problem. Because there's really only two locations. You love it or you don't. It makes you happy or it kind of doesn't. It feels fearful or it feels loving, and that gets trickier when we talk thought to conclusion, but it really is simple. Right. It really is.
And I love that explanation. If you guys have any questions, just DM us. Well, we can, yeah. But the way you describe it, it just makes sense. And the important part is to make it a daily practice. For me, I make it a multiple day practice. Anytime something feels off, I know we can do that. So our audience is here because they want answers of how to get sober. And I think a big piece about this is how they think about sobriety. And Erin and I's message every single day is we think sobriety is luxurious. It's fun. We make it simple. I mean, the work is the work, but being an alcoholic is hard, and so is being sober. It's like you kind of get to choose your heart and the work that you do. So any loving thoughts that you have, how people can shift their thoughts about sobriety.
Okay.
And that's stigma.
I like how you said that, though, that you can make it fun by changing the idea and seeing the victory, which is flipping. I love the X factor, the variable, the infinity, where you take what you don't like and flip it over to what you do. The only time to create that is in the moment. Now, if we miss moments, we can get in this now and make sure we focus on what makes us happy, that it feels really powerful to know who we are, to go through our emotions, to create a better feeling for them, so we don't need to mask them with something that masks it. And some can do it with sugar, some can do it with being obsessed with the gym, some can do it with being obsessed with social media, and of course, obviously, alcoholism is an easy one too. But there's many things we have to fix. As far as I do it too much, the scaled system isn't balanced, and I am so lost out there looking, doing, being this, that I forget to come into the now and here and watch, what do I really need, what makes me happy? But you can create your own formula in the now by thought to form, which is why I love the arrows, because this has a conclusion it goes to, but so do thoughts. If you pick what makes you feel good, feel beautiful, powerful, happy, loyal, you're putting that energy into the now, and it starts to lighten up what you don't like and have you focus on more in the now on what you do like, what feels good inside, and that's what you do for them, so that they can leave an old idea that does not make them feel happy and flip it to what does. And I think that's so powerful to know that you have that power to do that, and that I don't have a skill. I mean, I do because I've practiced, and you do because you've practiced, but we really all have the same skill, that we all can be great teachers by being it, by showing it, by teaching it, and that's really powerful.
That's so powerful. And I encourage anyone listening to that, maybe just, hold your thoughts captive today of that one thing you're wrestling with, and do that exercise Jay just like outlined. That take that thought and how do you want to feel? Choose the opposite. Because the thought, it's just a thought. Now I look back at what I used to think about drinking and those were just thoughts I practiced, and they were all lies. And now what I think about sobriety, I'm rooted in the truth. It's the opposite, but I was unconscious that I was even thinking those thoughts and practicing that. I have a quick question. I know you've been practicing this for most of your life, but can you share with us maybe the first time you had, I have some power here to change what I'm thinking. Or wait, I feel this connection, like as a child, perhaps.
No, I still have lots of those where I'm like, oh, yes, I have to change that idea. I think I've had many big moments where I went, oh, you did not do that right, and you can, and this is how. I think one of my big ones was when my second day in college, and there was another Jennifer there, so they called me Jaye. And I remember going, wow, I got a new name, and I saw in my mind's eye moments that I wasn't proud of Jennifer. I didn't like some of the things that I did, and my higher self, my guide, showed me where I was kind of not accurate. And I remember saying, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, and I felt fear. And they went, no, you got a new name, make a new version of yourself. And I became such a kinder, clearer, more accountable Jaye when I was, I guess, 17 to 18. I mean, I was learning before then, but that was my aha moment, that I didn't want to be her. I wanted to be what I wanted to be, which was so much kinder, so much nicer, and so much more accurate over my emotions. And I think that was such an aha moment in college that I went, I never want to be a mean girl. And I wasn't. Now, do I make mistakes? The thing I love about great leaders, great souls, great friends is you can always apologize. And right there, you're a hero. You can say, sorry, I didn't feel great. I was mean. I said something, but I didn't meant it this way, not this way. And you go back to communicating and getting close, advancing, and both parties advance. And I think that's such a great tool to know when you're wrong, and you'll become better just by knowing what's wrong. And acknowledging it is such a tool of power. I mean, Optimus Prime is up there. I have a lot of movies. I love heroes and leaders, but I love real living ones. I do. And when I see them, my heart smiles because we need more. That's why I fell in love with these two ladies. And it's an honor to teach them because they do what's right. They learn, they practice, they're accurate, they speak, they communicate, and they go empower you to do that. That's what leaders are. They duplicate. They're not leaders. They're leaders. They're leaders. They create other leaders. So, I'll say this, we're all gonna find moments where we don't love it, but as long as we can see we were wrong, acknowledge, and get better, you're a hero. You're becoming a leader because most don't do that, unfortunately.
And I mean, I'm always taken back by everything you say, but you're so humble. You're so brilliant, and your humility it goes through me. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I find the same with both of you.
And I know we're wrapping this up in a minute, but we have an upcoming event here, January 10th, correct? Okay, so January 10th, the Water Bar in Montclair. Please come and hang out with two sober girls and our brilliant teacher, Jaye. And okay, first of all, you're going to be obsessed with the space. You're not going to want to leave. Bring a friend. Guys are welcome, encouraged to come. And our guys are coming. And we can hang out, chat, have the most delicious drinks, matchas. The energy, the space, and the people that you attract here are just those beautiful beings. It's such a gift just to come and sit here. So please come join us January 10th and bring your questions for us, for Jaye,
Please.
and to be continued. But Jaye, thank you for hopping on with us.
you.
We love
Thank you.
And anything else, Michaela?
I just have a little note here that I just want to put in there. You said something about creating a new version of yourself, which I have done so many times without really knowing that I was doing it. And I know I have that power. And then I try to teach people that they have that power too, right? Because
You do teach people that.
No, I know, but it gets to be so fun when you are creating. I feel like sobriety is this portal to obviously remove alcohol from your life, which is poison. So that poison adds in poisonous thoughts, entities, spirits, so much bad energy. Because I remember when I was drinking and I was trying to be a good person, but just I would be in trouble, or I would be, just not attracting the right people, situations, and things. And it was through that substance which created the thoughts and the actions and, all of that follows. And I'm sure everybody can relate in their own way. So allowing sobriety, yes, to make it fun and to make it easy, do the work, but start to create a version of yourself that is sober that you probably have never thought about. So almost looking at it as this portal that, you know what, people are going to look at me different, that I'm not drinking. Let's add on a little bit more strategy to this. Like, I'm not just a person who's not drinking. I'm a person now who is responsible. I'm a person who is humble. Something you teach us a lot about is that humble confidence. A lot of times when people become sober is it comes off as standoffish, like, oh, I'm better than you, I don't drink. And it's not like that. Like Erin said, we're just trying to improve ourselves, our life, our relationships, our body. And so, instilling this in our audience of like, when you are sober, okay, make the list, like literally make a physical list of this new version of yourself, this sober, whatever you want it to be, and just make that list and anchor into that thought and what you want and what that version will create. And then the other piece, be humble about it, right?
Yeah, well, the humble part allows you to see accurately, but not get so insecure, so you have to add confidence, because insecurity does not feel good, and I've been there. It's so important to add so many aspects. Attributes are big. It's why we have an attribute deck here. I used to write each one of them, and then I would look at confident, and I would go, oh my God, look at me yesterday. I couldn't even look somebody in the eye. I wasn't confident then. But then I got too confident that I sounded a little arrogant. I didn't like that. So, what you think is what you are. It's nice to just notice, like a formula, if you're a good cook, what's missing in that? And you can add that into your soul by really taking inventory over what am I good at, what am I not good at, and what do I have to add in the now? That's the part of advancing and growing. And I think we'll never get to that top ladder where we know everything and we've done everything and we are everything. But it's nice to practice in the moment and keep being better. So you can keep adding what you like and keep taking away energies that you don't. And we have the power to do that, which is so beautiful.
So powerful. I feel like this is a masterclass, and I'd be silly not to ask about water. We are at the water bar.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your water, the process, the frequency, how we can bless our water? Like, just, something like, we are, such a big percentage of us is water.
Yes.
How that all works.
Yeah, it's great teachers up there. We all have great teachers, and we all have them, by the way. They used to have, when I was younger, they would say everything's energy, and you can put what you are, what you want to be into your water. And I used to just go, okay, and I would think of something and send the energy into my water, and I had all my friends do it. And then when I became this at a young age, I had my clients, students, friends do it. And I always talked about having a water bar, and everyone was like, okay, what's wrong with our water? And I was young. I would have these little canisters that I would pour into these pretty cups, and everybody would get a little glass and they'd put the energy into it, and that was the first water bar. I have pictures of it. And now I have a $150,000 very unique filter downstairs that is very unique. And it comes up through the copper pipes, out of the lions in the front, all our cappuccinos, elixirs, healthy things for the body. We have water clients that pick up every month, every day. It's in our ice, and it's a unique frequency. And then we have them at the front, add an energy to their cappuccinos, to the drink they're going to make, because we are everything we think. Everything is energy, everything. The question is, do you want it a beautiful piece of art or something you're not happy with? And that's the thoughts that we can utilize and make things a little easier. So I would charge your water, charge your food, charge your cappuccinos. I have my boys charge sodas, even though I don't let them drink a lot of them.
And do you just talk over it?
Yeah, you just send your energy and tell it what to do.
And you could do it with thought, right? Thought is frequency, but I think also when you can speak into it is even more vibration, right?
Yeah, I always kid around and say, flat abs and a nice ass.
Yes.
It's just important.
It is important in this physical.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah. Feeling beautiful, seeing it and putting it into the glass, it just, everything helps. Everything adds to everything. And you can tell when someone's not in a good mood. You can be at a supermarket and go, energy, you could feel it. So why don't you control and use it wisely and create things that you want for yourself? I highly recommend you do that.
And we will end there, because I think you just dropped so many powerful tools that we can use every single day. I mean, this is the stuff that we come in and work with you, and you were so beautifully and graciously just shared all of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you.
And
I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, Water Bar, Montclair, New Jersey. It's
and
so
we've been
beautiful.
here 18 years on this block. Yeah. So we look forward to that.
Have you been teaching and coaching this entire time?
Yeah, it was private practice next door.
Right.
And I always knew I would have students that would be owners.
Yeah.
I'm not done yet. And I flipped that idea. It was always going to be a water bar. I was in Wayne prior to here, and then I was in my house prior to that. Yeah. So the water bar is cool, and may there be one near you, and the people will own it. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram at Two Sober Girls Podcast. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a review, all of the good things. Send us a DM, and we love you all.